So there are some home buyers out there right now that are just sitting on the fence because they don't really know whether it's a good time to buy. And with the high interest rates and people really not knowing what home prices are going to do, I can't necessarily say that I blame them for the hesitation. In this video, we're going to talk all about that and more, but make sure you stick around to the end because I'm going to talk about some of the things that the government's doing to try to help out home buyers. And we're getting after it right now. Hey guys, I'm Sean Ramos and this is Living in Louisiana. In this video, we're going to be talking about whether or not it's a good time to buy a house. And I'm going to give you my opinion and I'm not going to try to give you a cliffhanger. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you right now that yes, I do believe now is a great time to buy a house. No, it's definitely not perfect. It would be great if we could go back to last year's interest rates, but last year was also really hard to buy a house because of the low inventory and all the competition with buyers. So there are certainly pros and cons to buying a house right now, but to me, the pros greatly outweigh the cons. So I'm gonna go through the reasons why I think it's a good time to buy a house, and I'm gonna give you my opinion on everything, but I'd love to hear your opinions too. So make sure you jump in the comments and let me know what you think. The first thing I want to talk about are the interest rates. And this is probably the most obvious thing because it's probably the biggest topic of conversation right now when it comes to buying a house. Obviously things have changed and we're looking at interest rates right now that are about double what we saw this time last year. Now we were spoiled for a really long time with record low interest rates that you just knew couldn't last forever. People were borrowing money to buy houses and the money was almost free. And I can't believe they lasted as long as they did, but you knew they were going to come up eventually. It does seem like rates peaked last month over 7%, but they've come back down some. And right now I'm seeing low sixes and I'm hearing some brokers talking about high fives. So let's talk about the pros and cons of the higher interest rates. Some of the obvious cons is that your monthly payment is gonna be higher. You're paying more at 6% than you were at 3% for sure. And because of those higher payments, maybe you can afford a little less house than you would have been able to otherwise. But there is a silver lining. To me, one of the biggest pros about having a higher interest rate is that it did sideline a lot of buyers. So if you can't afford a house, then there's a lot less competition. If you can afford the house, then I wouldn't necessarily bank on this, but if we get lucky and interest rates do come back down, then you can refinance and take advantage. The next thing I want to talk about are the average days on market. When I'm looking to see how the market's doing, days on market is one of the big things I like to look at. This is going to tell us on average how long it's going to take to sell a house from the time it goes on the market until the time it goes under contract. So if you go back to mid-year around the summertime, we had days on the market on average of about 20 days. But every month that's crept up and now we're sitting at an average of 37 days on the market. So houses are starting to take longer to sell. So that means you actually have time to go shop around, and that means that sellers are actually going to be willing to negotiate when their houses sit on the market for a little while. And don't get me wrong, not every house takes a long time to sell. The right house at the right price can still sell on day one and possibly have multiple offers. But for the most part, we're not really dealing with that anymore. Hey guys, real quick, just in case you didn't know, I am a licensed realtor in the state of Louisiana, and I just want to be your resource for all things real estate related. So if there's anything I can help you with, just let me know. That's my information popping up on your screen right now, and I am the guy that's going to answer every single call, text, or email that comes through. So whether you need to make a move right now or you're just thinking about doing something in the future, don't hesitate to reach out. I love having those conversations with you guys, and if there's anything at all I can help you with, I'd love to. Now let's talk about home prices. I see lots of articles from all over the country where they're talking about home prices dipping and markets crashing, but when I'm looking at the data from our market in our area, that's not what I'm seeing at all. Our local real estate market just doesn't seem to be as affected as a lot of other areas in the country. So our average home sale price peaked in July at a little over $302,000. Next few months it did dip a little bit, but it came back up, and right now we're sitting at right at a $300,000 average sale price. Now don't get me wrong, when you compare our average sale price to a lot of other places in the country, things are a lot more affordable here and you get a lot more bang for your buck, but I'm not seeing prices rise or fall right now. Right here in the Greater Baton Rouge area, prices are pretty much at a flat line. because houses are taking longer to sell and there being less demand, sellers are negotiable. But from what I'm seeing, buyers are asking more for seller concessions than they are for reduced sales prices. So when you make an offer on that $300,000 house, maybe you don't ask for a reduced sales price, but maybe you do ask for $10,000 or $15,000 in seller concessions to help your closing costs and to help buy your interest rate down. If I'm a buyer in this market, I'm way less worried about what I'm gonna actually pay for the house compared to how much money I can get from the seller to help keep my out-of-pocket costs down and get my monthly payment down. Okay, so now let's talk about the month supply of inventory on the market. The best way I can explain this is that if you take all the active listings that we have on the market right now and you don't add another new listing, how long that it would take to sell all of our current listings is the month supply we have of inventory. Earlier this year, inventory bottomed out at 1.1 month supply, which is an extreme seller's market. Sellers had all the control and there was no negotiating room for buyers at all. But in the past 6 months, pending and closed sales have dropped drastically, and now buyers have all the leverage. And since the tables have turned, I think it's a really good time for buyers to take advantage. Now, as promised, I'm going to tell you about some of the things the government's trying to do to help out home buyers, and more specifically, first-time home buyers. Right now, there are bills being talked about in Congress that are trying to get buyers tax credits, cash grants, lower interest rates, and even student loan forgiveness for first-time home buyers. There's actually one program that's already in place for first-time home buyers. If you're getting a conventional loan, you can get 3% down, which has always been the case. But right now, you can get relief on your interest rate of up to 1.75%. Now, the only way to find out if you qualify for that and how much you qualify for is to actually go through the pre-approval process with a mortgage lender. So if you need help with that, just let me know. So for all those reasons, I really do believe that this is a great time to buy a house, but I'd love to hear what you guys think too. So make sure you leave me a comment and let me know your thoughts. And don't forget, I am a licensed realtor in the state of Louisiana. You can reach me at the information that's on your screen right now, and I'd be happy to help you in any way I can. And last thing, if you haven't done it yet, go ahead and subscribe and click that notification bell, because I'm putting out videos every week that are just like this one where we talk about living in and moving to Louisiana. You guys have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you on the next one.